Tense hours-long standoff continues in City Heights. The delicate approach police say they're taking to try to resolve things. Big 180 at the Vatican, the latest comments from the Pope that could reshape how the church views same-sex relationships. And a new push by local community leaders to help seniors make ends meet, as many struggle to do so alone during this pandemic. ABC 10 News at 11 starts right now.
ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
And welcome this midday. Great to have you with us. I'm Jim Patton, joined remotely by Vanessa Paz with the weather and Virginia Cha, my co-anchor, who's going to take it right now. Virginia?
Thank you, Jim. Right now, authorities in a remote part of Rancho Penasquitos are clearing out a big illegal grow operation that they say they found by chance. They were originally called to check out a homeless encampment near a popular hiking trail, and while going to do that, they found thousands of pounds of marijuana plants. The plants were hidden below the canopy of the natural vegetation. They were 5 to 7 feet tall and ready to be harvested.
I think we need to up our game and heighten our awareness about who's here, when they're here, and why are they here.
They're hauling away the plants this morning, but say they still haven't found anyone connected to that growing operation. Well, for the first time ever, Pope Francis has endorsed same-sex unions. Now, the Pope was interviewed for a documentary called Francesco, which premiered today at the Rome Film Festival. He said, quote, "Homosexual people have the right to be in a family," calling them children of God and calling for a civil union law which would legally cover them. Well, since becoming Pope in 2013, Francis has given some oblique signals interpreted as openness to recognizing same-gender civil unions. Well, we know seniors are among the most vulnerable to the coronavirus. We're also learning more about the devastating impact that isolation is having on them. ABC 10 News anchor Mary McKenzie explains the push to support them that got a large financial shot in the arm today.
It's just heartbreaking when you think about this really invisible population that's struggling really in silence. They are lonelier than ever. They're more isolated than ever.
Seniors in San Diego and everywhere are carrying a silent and unfair burden. Because older adults are particularly vulnerable to the coronavirus, they've been advised to continue staying home, even as some restrictions start to relax.
And people who might have had, one point of connection throughout the day or even just throughout the week now have nothing. So what was bad has gotten even worse.
Today, though, a push to do something about this isolation epidemic. The No Seniors Alone initiative is a fundraising campaign launched today to provide $1 million in support for isolated older adults across San Diego County. At the Norman Park Senior Center in Chula Vista, a number of community leaders stood with the San Diego Seniors Community Foundation to announce the campaign. All of the money raised up to $500,000 will be matched by the SOM Family Foundation and will be used to support older people through all kinds of services, from digital access, engagement activities, classes, and for basic needs as well. And as we come into the holiday season, we know the feelings of isolation are likely to get even worse, and the health consequences are profound.
Equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day in terms of the toll that it takes on our physical health.
Mary McKenzie, ABC 10 News.
And we are following a developing story out of City Heights, where police are in a dangerous standoff with a man who has been tearing up rooftops and hurling objects at officers for hours. ABC 10 News reporter Marie Cornell is there live. And Marie, police asking people to stay away from the area.
Yeah, Jim, so we are standing right at 35th Street and University, and police have blocked off this area with police tape to physically keep people away from here. They also sent a notification using the Nextdoor app to inform people that they need to avoid this area as they are going through this whole situation. At this point, the man is still on top of the roof, which is where he's been ever since about 2:30 this morning, and negotiators have been working to try and get this to end peacefully, but at this point the man is still on the roof. We heard them speaking to him in Spanish. They have been going back and forth working to try and get this to end peacefully. But at this point, the man has not responded. Instead, what we have heard from the sergeant is that at one point, as he was on top of the roof, he was throwing things at police officers, as well as he was also making makeshift weapons. Police tell us that this all started when they were called to this area for a domestic violence call involving the man, his girlfriend, and a child. And they also say during this time, the man also destroyed a phone line or a cell phone. And when they tried to get him to surrender, the man took off running and somehow ended up on top of that roof. So again, at this point, police are doing everything they can, they say, to have this end peacefully. But right now, the man is still on top of the roof. So again, avoid this area of 35th Street at University while all of this is still going on. We're live from City Heights. Marie Cornell, ABC 10 News.
Yeah, unusual case there. Marie, thank you very much. We'll check back. San Diego staying in the state's red tier for now. Our latest numbers show 7.8 new coronavirus cases per day per 100,000 residents. If that number reaches at least 8 for 2 straight weeks, then San Diego would be pushed into the state's most restrictive purple tier. Non-essential businesses would then have to move outside, which could pose additional challenges as we head into winter.
We know San Diego does a tremendous job of tracking where their transmission is.
Now, county leaders are reminding people to wear masks and avoid large gatherings. Theme parks will have to wait a little longer before they can welcome back guests. The state announcing that most parks cannot open until their counties are in the yellow tier. And when they do get there are going to be a lot of restrictions. Smaller theme parks will be capped to 25% or 500 people. And they can only open outdoor attractions, and ticket sales must be limited to visitors living in the same county. A decision experts say will affect the surrounding businesses.
Hotels, restaurants, gift stores, all those things are being impacted. So it's not just the theme park which is going to struggle, but it's also the whole ecosystem around those theme parks.
And for the big theme parks like Legoland, Disneyland, SeaWorld, they'll have to wait until the county that they're in hits the yellow tier, and then they can only open at 25% capacity. Those big theme parks hold a news conference later today calling on the governor to reconsider these guidelines, allowing them to reopen sooner. Virginia?
Thank you, Jim. This is new today. Federal authorities announcing charges against a man accused of making threats against voters and threatening violence against Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So the Department of Justice says a man left a letter on the doorstep of a home in Maryland that was displaying Biden-Harris signs. The letter threatened violence against homeowners displaying these signs and suggested they would kidnap and harm Biden and Harris. The news comes amid the ongoing investigation into a plot to kidnap the governors of Michigan and Virginia. The Maryland suspect faces up to 5 years in prison for the threats. Meanwhile, Joe Biden and Donald Trump both continuing their late push on the campaign trail, pitching swing state voters 2 weeks before the election. Both candidates fielding questions about the pandemic in the last 24 hours. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez has the latest.
Today, former Vice President Joe Biden getting some big name backing on the campaign trail. Former President Barack Obama holding his first in-person rally of this election season with a drive-in event planned for this evening in the crucial swing state of Pennsylvania.
In times as polarized as these, your vote doesn't just matter. It matters more than ever before.
President Trump visiting Pennsylvania last night, a state he won by less than 1% in 2016.
Pennsylvania, you got to get out and vote. You know, if we win Pennsylvania, we win the whole thing.
The president making the trip without First Lady Melania Trump, who canceled her first planned public appearance in months due to a lingering cough after contracting the coronavirus. The virus so far has killed more than 220,000 Americans. President Trump asked in a town hall with Sinclair Broadcasting yesterday what he would have done differently in his response to the pandemic.
Look, it's all over the world. You have a lot of great leaders. There are a lot of smart people. It's all over the world. It came out of China. China should have stopped it.
Joe Biden again criticizing the president's handling of the coronavirus emergency in an interview with ABC's Milwaukee affiliate as he remains off the campaign trail prepping for tomorrow night's debate.
Donald Trump took no responsibility, failed and continues to fail to do that. He's still downplaying it, lying about it, denying how we have a big problem.
And Biden praising the debate commission's plan to silence microphones during initial questions after dozens of interruptions during the first debate.
I think there should be more limitations on us not interrupting one another.
Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Nashville.
And a quick reminder, you can watch the final presidential debate tomorrow right here on ABC 10. Coverage begins at 5 p.m. after our 4 p.m. newscast. The debate gets underway at 6, followed by a special edition of ABC 10 News at 8. Jim?
Well, Virginia, this morning, a former teacher learning his sentence for having sex with a student. Earlier this year, 36-year-old Jonathan Sammartino pleaded guilty to having a sexual relationship with a minor, a 17-year-old student at the time. Sammartino, who taught at La Jolla Country until 2016, could get probation and placement on a sex offender registry list.